Have you ever seen something small that made absolutely no sense? A strange object, a sudden message, or a mystery that stayed unanswered for years? Today on Trace and Tell, I'm sharing 3 real-life mysteries that confused people at first but were finally solved. And one of these stories ends with a clue that was hiding in plain sight the whole time. Before we begin, if you enjoy real stories with clear explanations, subscribe to Trace and Tell and turn on notifications. Now, let's follow the clues. The wallet that kept coming back. A man in Chicago lost his wallet on the street. It wasn't expensive, it didn't have much cash, but it had something important: his old ID card and a photo of his family. He looked everywhere. He checked his pockets, his bag, his car. Nothing. 2 days later, the wallet returned. It showed up inside his mailbox. No note, no explanation, just the wallet, slightly wet like it had been outside. At first, he thought, okay, someone found it, they returned it. But then it happened again. A week later, he lost the wallet again. He was sure he had it in his jacket. And again, it returned to his mailbox. Now he was confused. He didn't tell anyone. He didn't post about it. So how was it coming back every time? So he did something simple. He bought a cheap keychain tracker, the kind that beeps when you press a button. He attached it inside the wallet, and he waited. A few days later, the wallet disappeared again. But this time he pressed the tracker button, and he heard a sound, not from outside, but from inside his own apartment. The sound was coming from a small space behind his kitchen cabinet, a space he never noticed before. He opened it and found a narrow hole in the wall, and inside that hole was a small hidden path. Turns out there was a gap between apartments, a very thin space caused by old construction, and the neighbor next door had been sneaking in through that gap, not to steal money, not to rob him, but to take random objects and return them because he believed it was a test from the universe. The neighbor was not dangerous, but he was not well. The building repaired the wall, and the mystery ended. But for weeks, the man had been living next to someone who was silently entering his home. The notes that appeared in a library book. A university student borrowed a book from a library. It was an old history book, nothing special. But when she opened it, a small note fell out. It said, "If you find this, please contact me," and it had an email address. She thought it was a joke or maybe an old bookmark, so she ignored it. Then she turned the page, and there was another note. This one said, "Page 47." She flipped to page 47. On that page, a sentence was underlined, and next to it there was a handwritten message. "This is the truth they never tell you." Now she was curious. She kept reading. Every few pages there was another note, another number, another underlined line. It felt like a puzzle. At the end of the book, there was a final note. "Meet me at the library cafe on Friday at 3 p.m. She didn't know what to do, so she asked the librarian. The librarian looked at the notes and smiled, and then he said, "This book has been doing this for years." He explained. A former student had created a hidden message game in that exact book. He used it to help shy students meet new people. Every time someone solved the clues, they would leave a new note for the next person. The email wasn't a trap. It was a community email shared by students who played the game. And the reason the library never removed the notes was simple. It made people excited to read. The student who started it later became a teacher, and the library still keeps that book on the shelf as a small mystery that turns strangers into friends. The message in a bottle that was solved after decades. A family was walking on a beach in Scotland. The tide was low, and near a rock, they saw a glass bottle. Inside was a note. The paper looked old, very old. They carefully opened the bottle and read it. It was a short message. "If you find this, please write back. I am doing this for a school project. My name is Andrew." And there was an address. The family thought it was impossible. A bottle like that could have been in the ocean for years. So they searched online for the address. The house still existed. They decided to send a letter. A few weeks later, they got a reply. The reply came from an elderly man. His name was Andrew. And he wrote, "I can't believe this was found. I threw that bottle into the sea when I was 12 years old." He explained the mystery. It wasn't from far away. It didn't travel around the world. It stayed near the coast for decades because of local currents. The bottle likely got trapped in a calm zone between rocks and only returned to the open beach after a storm changed the sand. Andrew even had an old school photo holding the same bottle. A tiny mystery solved decades later. And the best part was this. Andrew said he never expected anyone to reply, but he always wondered what happened to that bottle. After all those years, he finally had his answer. 3 small mysteries. 3 clear endings. Which story was your favorite? Story 1, The Returning Wallet. Story 2, The Hidden Library Notes. Story 3, The Message in the Bottle. Leave a comment with your favorite number, 1, 2, or 3. And if you want more real-life mysteries with simple explanations, subscribe to Trace and Tell. See you in the next story.